Early Egyptian civilization is a captivating subject, offering a glimpse into one of humanity's most formative periods. This civilization, emerging around the Nile River, laid the groundwork for Egypt's cultural, political, and technological development. It was characterized by remarkable advances in agriculture, architecture, and writing, contributing to the formation of a complex society. The agricultural innovations, largely due to the Nile's predictable flooding, supported a stable food supply, which in turn enabled population growth and the establishment of permanent settlements. This prosperity facilitated the rise of intricate social structures and eventually the centralization of political power. Understanding early Egyptian civilization is fundamental when exploring the question of who Egypt's first pharaoh was. This era marked the nascent stages of a governing system where leadership became synonymous with divine rule, setting the stage for the emergence of the pharaohs. The significance of this lies in how these early structures and beliefs provided the fertile ground from which the concept of a singular, divine ruler, a pharaoh, could emerge. The pharaoh was not just a political leader, but also a religious figure believed to be a god in human form, which was a belief system that began developing during these early stages. Two notable examples of cultural and technological impacts include the development of hieroglyphics and monumental architecture. Hieroglyphics, one of the oldest writing systems, facilitated complex record-keeping and communication, essential for governing a burgeoning state. Monumental architecture, exemplified by structures like the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, demonstrated the organizational capabilities and religious devotion of the Egyptians, serving both ceremonial and political purposes. Opinions supporting the importance of early Egyptian civilization emphasize its role as a blueprint for subsequent cultures, influencing everything from governance to architecture. However, there are challenges and controversies in pinpointing leadership origins and cultural shifts in this period. Some scholars debate the true start of centralized rule, as distinct regions in pre-dynastic Egypt had their own leaders who gradually united. This concept of early Egyptian civilization not only influences our understanding of Egypt's first pharaoh, but also connects to broader themes of state formation, cultural integration, and the evolution of leadership. It showcases how foundational societal developments underpin the later rise of unified sovereignty under figures like Narmer, who is often credited as Egypt's first pharaoh. This interconnectedness underscores the narrative of human civilization's progression from dispersed communities to sophisticated empires, paving the way for future generations and societal models. The unification of Upper and Lower Egypt is a pivotal event in ancient Egyptian history, traditionally attributed to the first pharaoh, Narmer, sometimes identified as Menes. This unification around 3100 BCE marked the consolidation of two distinct regions along the Nile River Valley into a single, centralized state. Upper Egypt comprised the southern part of the Nile Valley, characterized by narrow valleys and high cliffs, while Lower Egypt was the northern delta region, fertile and sprawling. The unification symbolized the merging of these two regions' political, social, and cultural systems, laying the foundation for the remarkable civilization that followed. The significance of this unification in relation to Egypt's first pharaoh is profound. It established the pharaonic institution, granting the pharaoh divine status and centralized authority over the newly unified territory. This centralization played a crucial role in the development of Egyptian culture, administration, and monumental architecture, leading to the construction of iconic structures such as pyramids and temples. Furthermore, it led to advancements in irrigation, agriculture, and writing systems that supported a burgeoning civilization along the Nile. One real-world example illustrating this point is the Narmer Palette, an ancient ceremonial engraving that depicts Narmer wearing the crowns of both Upper and Lower Egypt, symbolizing his control over both regions. It is one of the earliest known representations of a ruler's unification of two lands. Another example is the ceremonial city of Memphis, strategically established at the junction of Upper and Lower Egypt, serving as a political and cultural hub that facilitated the consolidation of the two regions. Opinions supporting the significance of unification emphasize its role in creating a stable and prosperous ancient Egyptian state that lasted for thousands of years. Yet, potential challenges and controversies exist. Some scholars debate whether Narmer was indeed the first pharaoh responsible for unification, suggesting the process may have been more gradual and possibly involved other leaders. The exact nature and chronology of unification remain subjects of archaeological and historical investigation. This unification is pivotal in understanding Egypt's subsequent history, influencing its political structure, religious practices, and cultural identity. It connects to other aspects of the main topic by demonstrating how the pharaonic system and centralized governance originated, impacting Egyptian society's evolution. The legacy of this unification endures as it set the stage for one of the most enduring and iconic civilizations in human history. Narmer is a pivotal figure in ancient Egyptian history, often identified as the first pharaoh who unified Upper and Lower Egypt around 3100 BCE. He is considered a foundational character in Egypt's transition from prehistory to the Pharaonic Age, which marked the beginning of the country's dynastic period. Although historical records from this era are sparse, Narmer's existence and accomplishments are largely validated by archaeological evidence, such as the Narmer Palette, a ceremonial engraving depicting the king wearing the crowns of both Upper and Lower Egypt, symbolizing their unification under his rule. The significance of Narmer in relation to the topic of Egypt's first pharaoh is profound. He is credited with establishing the first dynasty of a unified Egypt, laying the groundwork for a civilization that would flourish for millennia. His consolidation of power marked a pivotal shift from fragmented regional control to a centralized, bureaucratic state, setting the stage for the grandeur of future pharaohs like Khufu, Hatshepsut, and Ramses III. This unification also allowed for the standardization of weights, measures, and writing, which were crucial for administration, trade, and cultural cohesion. Narmer's rule is exemplified in two main archaeological discoveries: the aforementioned Narmer Palette and the Narmer Mace Head. These artifacts not only provide artistic representations of Narmer as a unifying leader, but also serve as early examples of complex symbolic communication, hinting at the advanced statecraft and religious underpinnings of his reign. Opinions regarding Narmer's role and his accomplishments are generally supportive, acknowledging him as a visionary leader who managed to consolidate a complex society. However, there are challenges and controversies, particularly in differentiating between historical figures like Narmer and Menes. Some scholars suggest Menes and Narmer may have been the same individual, while others argue they were separate figures. This lack of clarity stems partly from Egypt's fragmented early records and the overlap of myth and history. Narmer's unification of Egypt influences many aspects of the country's ancestral narrative, effectively setting in motion the development of a powerful, ancient civilization renowned for its monumental architecture, art, and governance systems. Understanding Narmer's role as Egypt's inaugural pharaoh provides insight into how one leader's strategic vision and diplomatic prowess can create a legacy that endures through centuries and shapes the course of history for an entire nation. Narmer's Palette is a significant archaeological find that offers vital clues about the identity of Egypt's first pharaoh, widely believed to be Narmer himself. This ceremonial stone slab, dating back to around 3100 BCE, is intricately carved with scenes that depict Narmer's dominance over both Upper and Lower Egypt. The palette serves not only as a work of art, but also as a political document that marks the unification of Egypt under Narmer's rule, providing tangible evidence that he was indeed the first pharaoh, a pivotal figure in establishing the dynastic era of ancient Egypt. The importance of Narmer's Palette lies in its symbolic representation of Narmer's achievements and his divine authority as a ruler. It reflects the nascent stages of Egyptian statecraft and the consolidation of power, which laid the foundation for thousands of years of pharaoh-led governance. The palette's depictions of Narmer wearing the crowns of both Upper and Lower Egypt signify his role as a unifier, an achievement that resonates throughout Egypt's history as a cradle of ancient civilization. One real-world example of Narmer's Palette's significance is its role in Egyptological research, where it is analyzed to better understand the early dynastic period. Another application is its influence on modern perceptions of Egyptian art and culture, serving as inspiration for contemporary representations of ancient Egyptian imagery. While many scholars support the idea that Narmer was the first pharaoh due to the evidence presented in the palette, there are alternative viewpoints and controversies surrounding this interpretation. Some argue that another figure, known as Menes, was the first to unify Egypt, suggesting that Narmer and Menes could be the same individual under different names, or that Menes succeeded Narmer. Additionally, the lack of written records from this period leaves room for debate, as much of the historical interpretation relies on the symbolic and artistic depictions rather than textual evidence. Narmer's palette connects deeply with other aspects of ancient Egyptian history and archaeology by illuminating the processes of political unification and state formation. It influences how historians and archaeologists understand the development of early dynastic Egypt and the role of pharaonic kingship in shaping the civilization. This artifact not only provides insights into the identity of Egypt's first pharaoh, but also underscores the broader narratives of power, leadership, and cultural identity that define ancient Egypt's enduring legacy.